So, that was quite an afternoon, quite an afternoon. I don't know what to say really, other than got tremendous respect for, as we talked about leading into this, for that team. I have tremendous respect for that program. Goodness gracious, and Tom's a guy that I have, in a lot of ways, looked at and admired and tried to learn from, and try to take a lot of program stuff from. He doesn't know that, but that's the case. So got just a ton of respect for him, and I think we probably caught them on a rough night in terms of shooting the ball. But I was really happy for our guys. I told them, when you coach for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is to see our older guys enjoy a moment like that. It's genuinely a big reason why we get into coaching, to see Kata and Jay Sean and Cam and those guys embracing this moment and smiling, and even a guy like Andrew being a part of a team now and playing and really being a part of a team, and all those things. It was so rewarding to see those guys celebrate and enjoy this moment. The challenge for us now moving forward would be how do we respond with a really good Maryland team, but we'll enjoy this one today here. I can't say enough about the crowd. The energy was outstanding. Obviously, to be expected, we played an incredible team and incredible program, but wow, they really lifted us and lifted our guys.
Chris, you've talked about not overanalyzing specific moments or specific games or stretches, but to sit here and you just beat the #1 team, you won 7 of 8. How does it just feel right now to know that this is the position that you're in? You just had a win, like we talked about the possibility yesterday. But what does this feel like for you to be at this position 16 games into your first year?
It's a little surreal, I think, at times, for sure. I think you go into the year not sure what to expect. Very rarely do you have a chance to even play a #1 team in the country on your home floor. And again, as I said, that's a credit to Michigan State. So to have that opportunity, it doesn't come up a whole lot. And this is a moment that our fans and our players will remember for a long time. I think they will, and they'll take parts and pieces of it. So, it feels really good. But I think as a coach, I hate to say it, it's going to sound, Belichickian, but we really are going to try to move as quickly as possible on to the next thing.
And the run that you closed the first half with, it was like 8 or 10-0 in the last 45 seconds. How much did that change the complexion of the game, and how hard was it to then hold on to that once you go in the second half?
That really was a critical stretch. It was, all things kind of went in our favor at that point, with a foul on I think we had at one point, we had a couple threes there, a couple transition looks, the half-court shot, the technical free throws, all of that kind of played into it, and it broke open what was a really close game. And then I think coming out, we kind of traded baskets to open the second half. I've not been real pleased with our opening second half defensive approach. Again, I thought it was just okay tonight, to be real honest with you. But we were able to score enough to keep them at bay. We knew they'd make a run. They did make a run, and I think Kata and JT got a basket in that stretch where they cut it to, I think, 8 or so.
Chris, a handful of times this year we've come in here post game, and you even in wins you've kind of focused on some things that you weren't happy with and whatnot. What's going through your head right now? I mean, this is your team and whatnot. So
yeah.
What's in your mind right now? I'm curious.
Just really happy and proud of our guys, and really happy for them. Just really, I just can't say that enough. We all know that have been a part of this program, right, for the last couple of years. We've had some tough stuff we've had to deal with. Players have had some tough stuff, so to see them celebrate and enjoy it, I just feel really happy for them. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a win like this last year. They just don't come around too often, so I'm really happy for our coaches, but most importantly our players.
Chris, on on the timeline of this program, you came here, you knew what you had. Where is it right now? Is this ahead of schedule? I know coaches don't get surprised. Are you surprised with where you are, what you've been able to accomplish? Is it about where you?
No, I'm surprised. Yeah, coaches get surprised. I got surprised. I'm surprised.
What particular?
I just, I think, it's, and we'll see, right? We don't know at this point. We could go in the tank here for the next couple of weeks. We certainly don't want this moment to define us, and we don't want it to be the pinnacle of our season, as good as it is, and that's the challenge for us moving forward. I watch it on video, and I am so impressed with a lot of the teams that we're going to compete against here, and we're going to have to play really well. But certainly, I'm surprised with how we have played in stretches, and I think our connection and our chemistry has been above and beyond what I maybe anticipated. And you never know as a coach what's the buy-in going to be, right? Like, you just don't know that. And our players deserve a ton of credit because we got here as a coaching staff in June, and we haven't necessarily, we're not tyrants, but we haven't coached them with kid gloves either. And they've accepted and embraced that.
Coach Jay Sean said, in years past, there's been times where this team has gotten up by 20 on good teams and they folded. And he said the mantra throughout this game was don't fold. How important obviously with their stats, they're important, but how important have Jay Sean and Kate have been in games with just the way they've handled themselves and their energy, I guess?
They're the reason. I think they're the reason. You look at the teams that Texas Southern cut it to 2, Miami cut it to a basket. They're the reason that we've been able to pull those games out and finish those games. And as a coach, you're trying to prepare your guys as well as you can prepare them. But at the end of the day, when the game gets tight and it's close, players win games. And it's about when Michigan State made a run, it was like, okay, somebody's going to step up and make a play, and those guys both did that. It doesn't always have to be an offensive play; it could be a defensive play. In a lot of ways, that's happened for us this year. I've been really pleased because we lost a lead this year, and I think we've learned from that. Doesn't mean that we're not going to lose the lead again at some point, but I think we've learned. You got to keep playing. You have to finish the game. You have to get stops and scores, and there's a level of aggressiveness that's required in those moments.
Chris, are you going to have to change your approach at all to how you coach your team after this? It's like you're not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. That's not to say that maybe you had it in the past, but what the preseason expectations were. Yeah, they're going to change now. So does that change your approach to how you coach?
I think it's probably something to be. And we're only 4 games in, right, of a 18-game league schedule, so there's so much to be played left. And I do think that, you look around college basketball, it's hard to win on the road. So while this is an incredible win, there's a lot of teams in college basketball that are in the top 5 or top 10 that can lose on the road to an opposing team. I don't think anybody's ready to crown or give us anything. We will remind our guys that the importance of a mature, growth-minded approach is kind of, as boring as that sounds, that's going to be required. Certainly when you have a win like this, it does maybe alert more people and teams in your league. And listen, if we're not good enough to handle that, then we'll find out.
And then maybe it's another question that it's too early to ask at this point, but I think people were curious to see what Katie could be when he just finally got healthy. Mm-hmm. Are you at all at the point where you're like, man, Katie's really good, and then you're like, oh man, maybe he's too good and he won't be here? Yeah.
Well, it's funny, those thoughts go through all of our minds, right? I think we've been having those thoughts for a little while. I think he and his family want to put that right out, and we even talked before the season. They want to put that to the side and not worry about it right now. You get in this business for kids to reach their dreams. You really do. So if that happens and he's got an opportunity like that, I'm going to be so happy for him and his family. So happy. There's so much left to be played. There's a lot left for us to prove. He's just got to be Cada, and whatever comes out of that comes out of that. But certainly that's a more and more real possibility. If that were to happen, we'd be really happy. But we got so much left to kind of learn when it comes to that situation.
Chris, you obviously have a ton of basketball left to be played, but with what you've seen so far, is it realistic that 10 weeks from now that Ohio State could be a tournament team?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think I think we're all aware, kind of going in, what the questions were and the prognostications were. I just think we've got a lot we've got to continue to prove. I don't think that certainly right now we can't rest on our laurels. That's for sure, because we won't be playing in any postseason if we do. If we get complacent and we relax, we won't. So I think we've got to continue to go out and earn. The one thing I've learned about that, and when I was at Butler the 3 years, 1 year we were on the bubble, and at the end of the day, what you're saying is, hey, listen, you're going to get what you earn. In most cases, you're going to get what you earn. Like, if we're good enough and we grow and we get good enough, we'll get what we earn. Who knows? It's so early to tell at this point. But it's not like it. The reality is, right? Every kid would love to play in that thing because it's the best athletic event in the world, I think.